video. Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media, and it is great to see you guys again for this month's Fix Your Project stream. We are, I think, like over 3 years into this stream now. So thank you guys to all of you who have stuck around from the beginning. If you're new to this series, essentially, in this series you can submit your project files, and I'll work on them on stream for you to get some insight into what's wrong with your project files or things that I would change to improve upon them. If you want to send in a project file for next month's stream, make sure to go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. You can find out more information there, but essentially any pledge, $10 or above, can submit to these streams. And with that pledge, you also get access to a lot of other cool stuff, like there is a monthly meetup on our Patreon with all of the students, including my mentees, and a ton of other cool artists in there as well. You also get my full discography download and a variety of a lot of cool production tools and tips for you to use in your music. So, before we get started today, we had a question in the chat from a user by the name of PYXCIL. Sorry, I don't fully understand how to pronounce your name, but I wanted to address this before we started the stream today. We only have 3 project files today, so we're going to take our sweet time and really dedicate some time to each of them. So the question in the chat, as you can see on the screen here, was I've been struggling with recording and mixing in vocals using my condenser mic, and I thought you might be able to give some tips on that. So yeah, I actually just did a video on YouTube about this. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, Julian Gray Media on YouTube. But a few of the most important things I think with recording is to record at a really high sample rate, so the highest you can get away with without the latency being too noticeable. That would be like 48K, 96K, what have you, so that you have a little bit more freedom in flexibility in how you stretch and warp your vocals if you're using Ableton, or whether or not you're using whatever platform it is, Melodyne or what have you. You get more clarity and more resolution when you're recording at higher resolutions, giving you more freedom to stretch without any aliasing. So that's one of the things. The other thing is make sure you have good mic placement. If you're talking too close to the microphone like this, it ends up being very overbearing, very personal, and a little too in your ears. If you pull out a little too far, you get too much of the room and it doesn't feel like you're present at all. You're getting a weird balance of reverb in your voice. So you generally want to stay within like a foot of the microphone, maybe a little bit above the microphone if possible. You can kind of see with my mic here, it's a little bit above my, or I'm sorry, my lips are a little bit above the microphone. You can speak right into it. You don't want to ever go below the mic. So those are some quick tips for mics and recording your voice. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Other than that, man, just make sure you have a good input level. It's always better to be quieter than louder. If you're recording in too hot, it's really bad. If you're recording in really quiet, it's better because you can always boost it up. Just be aware of your noise floor. Okay, so that's where we're going to start things off. Thank you for that wonderful question. And guys, throughout this stream, if you have production questions of your own, make sure to let me know in the chat, and I will address them as we go along. So, while I'm talking here, make sure that, just to make sure that we're not running into any issues, let me know in the chat if the stream freezes, if we have audio problems, or anything like that throughout the stream. So, to start things off, we're going to jump into our project files. Let's go over and switch to, or go ahead and switch over to our main visual here. We have 3 projects today, one from JC, Essity, and Dustin Rosada. These are names you've probably seen before if you've tuned into the stream in the past. Seems like we're getting some stream freezing. Unfortunately, I don't think there's much I can do about that. We were running into this last time too. I think it's an internet problem. But we're gonna try our best here. Okay, so it says, thanks man, I'll check out your video. It can be frustrating, but, because I've had really great recordings with the setup and then really also horrible ones. Yeah, just let me know if any of those tips help you out, and they really should. Those things will really make the difference in your recording process, I think. Those are like the key fundamentals, I should say. So here's our project files for today. We have, again, JC, and she submitted a project. We have Essity, and we have Dustin. And if you guys are in the chat, let me know what the inspiration was for these songs. Just want to collect a little bit more data from you guys. So we're going to start things off here with JC, obviously, because she is the first one in the list. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. Getting this thing open. And we'll do Ableton Live 10 just to make sure. I always open Live 10 first so that we don't have any hiccups. Okay, so this is an 11 project. Do have to open this in 11. We always want to open it in 10 first so that if the person actually ran it with Ableton Live 11, it doesn't crash. Or, I'm sorry, not crash. Doesn't overwrite the save and then make it so we can't open it on the older version. I hate doing that to you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it in Live 11, and we'll get this thing started. Now, JC is an amazing musician. If you guys aren't already familiar, she has some incredible music out right now. Just released a new music video, and I think you guys should absolutely check it out. Okay, let's see. My inspiration is winning a remix contest. Awesome. Well, hopefully you do win this contest. The set is taking a minute to load here. Hopefully we get that a little bit better. I don't know why I'm running into those hiccups every now and then. I think it's an internet thing. But, you know, nothing we can do about it. This project is really taking its time. I wonder what's going on here. Okay, so a lot of my plugins are not loading. That's interesting. Yeah, I should have a lot of them. I don't know why they didn't load. We're gonna try to play this anyway, to the best of our ability, with the stuff that's available to us. Okay. So let's go ahead and give this thing a play. This is JC, and I forget what the song title was. Doesn't have a song title. I should add that to the form for next month. Okay, go ahead and give this thing a play. You can't hear that at all.
Okay.
Let's restart it. Sorry about that. Didn't have my sound routed. By the way, guys, as of I think 2 months ago, we are now streaming to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. No longer limited to just Twitch.
Okay.
Sorry. No longer limited to YouTube.
Chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I do this alone. I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I do this alone. Why not stay with me?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Be the lighthouse in the dark. Why not stay with me? Steady with this heartbeat.
So beautiful and unique is the bass JC. Or Jace, I'm sorry. I have another friend named JC that's similarly spelled that always confuses me.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I do this alone. I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I do this alone. I do this alone.
Man, I love this.
I do this alone. Why not stay with me? Be the lighthouse in the dark. Why not stay with me? Steady with this heartbeat.
Man, that's so pretty. I'm always so amazed by her creativity and uniqueness. Like, this is sorely needed in the electronic music genre. It's so pretty, so close to the soul, I think, and I'm always apprehensive about changing her music too much because it's so pure. I have a few notes for this one that I think we can address. I don't know how much of what you've done has been lost in translation of me not having some of your devices or some of your plugins, but based on what we do have, I'll make some adjustments. So I really love the vocal. I think it's so unique and pretty as usual.
I do this alone. I don't wanna be
notice you're clipping constantly here. You're kind of pushing it over the line on some of these bigger
Why not stay?
these bigger transients here. I would say if it were me, I would grab all of these, turn them down so that you're not clipping here, and then maybe, turn them up on your vocal channel. And you could probably do some balancing here too. I know it's a nitpick and it doesn't really matter functionally, but it's just bad practice for mixing, I guess.
Lighthouse in the dark. Why not stay with me?
Okay, so as far as the mix and master goes, and I don't want to make too many creative changes because this is, always so interesting, and I don't want to try to box you into something that pre-exists. I just want to try to make sure that the balance and the volume is at a reasonable level. So what we're going to do is use Span. Span is a utility that lets us look at the spectral balance of your song. So that's like your frequencies across the board from 20 to 20K. And we're going to look and see what's going on here and see what we can address and see if we're missing things throughout. Another plugin I like to use for this, or use for referencing, is there's a plugin called Loudness Meter by Uline. And if you watch these streams regularly, I use these plugins in conjunction all the time. But Loudness Meter gives us a sense of how loud our song is. So between these two plugins, we can really see a clear picture as far as what the song is doing, and visibly see, not just audibly see exactly what's going on. Let's go ahead and play it from the start, and maybe we'll actually, instead of the start, let's jump into like one of the choruses or
Chasing dreams
part that's a
alone.
little bit more cool.
I don't really see why I do this alone. Why not stay with me? Be the lighthouse in the dark.
So for me, this spectral balance looks pretty good. We have
Chasing dreams alone. I don't really.
a really crisp top end. It's kind of doing this downward slope, which is generally a good curve to have. You have a lot of movement here at like 250 to like 400 hertz, and this is probably reflected in one of your instruments. I had a call with a student the other day discussing the relationship between the notes being played and the bands you see, or the harmonics you see on this EQ, or on this spectrum analyzer here, and what we can correct with an EQ, or we can just remove the notes or turn them down. If we can isolate what instruments these are, we can probably turn them down just a little bit so that they're more in line with these harmonics here and these harmonics here. Your bass being a little loud is fine, and it also seems as though, based on this note that I froze, let's just say this is a C. You have a note at C2, which I think is actually C1. For some reason, Span tends to transpose its readings. I don't know why, but you're lacking the octave up, I think. So you don't have anything here at like C3, and even like C4. This kind of chunk of notes here is missing throughout a lot of your song, and I think that that's a stylistic choice. You have like a lot of openness and freeing, very subtle sound design here that leaves that bottom end open, and it feels very whimsical. But I'm thinking that in some points of your song, like your big choruses or something, you can bring in this region here, like in a bass line or something like that, that will really open up the grandeur of the choruses a bit. Have a big like bass anchor in the choruses. Again, a lot of what we're discussing here is nitpicks. I think that the song is beautiful and unique as it is, and it's not trying to be anything. So if anything, it's my opinion as far as what I would do if I were producing this record. It's not like what you have to do to make this a good song, because I think it's already a good song in its own way.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I
So,
do this.
let's go ahead and take a look at like the basses you have. You have nothing like labeled, so it's gonna be a little challenging, but we're gonna start looking. So these are all like your acoustic instruments, drums and bass. No touchy. Okay, so this I'm assuming she doesn't want me to mess with these. Okay, I won't. But if I was going to, I think your bass line might need a little bit of volume. So whichever one that is, I'm a little bit clueless as far as what you're doing here. Okay, so that one, wherever that is. This guy could probably be a bit louder. This is like your main bass, I believe. Or maybe it's this one. One or the other. These are kind of quiet. So that's kind of like what I was referring to. You're missing this chunk in your, like I was saying, like 3, 4 kind of octave. And this is the notes right there, I think. These are the harmonics we're missing. It's just that they're a little quiet. So if I were you, I would turn those up. I see that you've flattened these down to a bus here. And that sounds, all right, but I think that would be one of my main critique.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone.
And another thing, I know we're already pushing the volume on this vocal pretty loud over the red. JC is not talking. She is not in the chat right now. I'm talking to her as if I am God right now. Really quickly, let me address this comment. Like, I kind of want to go for the sick stuff than the basic things, but I remember that I just started getting into this stuff. Hopefully I can do what I want to do for a long time. Yeah, I think there's no reason to limit yourself to simpler ideas when you're first getting started, but I also think that it's important to get a good understanding of the fundamentals before you get too deep into the more advanced production stuff that builds upon those fundamentals. So all right, so I was just saying the voice is a little bit quiet. I know that we're clipping
Lighthouse.
here, and that's driving me nuts because just optically that's really infuriating to see the red go that hot.
Be the lighthouse in the dark.
But I do think that the vocal's a little bit on the quiet side. Like I could probably pull this up like 4 decibels and it would be fine.
Be the lighthouse in the dark. Why not stay with?
See, now we're too hot because everything's that hot. So maybe like let's just do -3 for now where it was. And what I would do instead is turn everything else down. Because we are so hot right now that if we turn this up, this is going to be clipping even more than it already is. So the alternative is turning everything else down. So we'll do that really fast. We don't touch no touchy. We just bring it down to decibels. Cool.
I don't wanna be.
Okay, so that gave us a few more decibels to play with on our vocal channel here. It sounds much better to me. Maybe we can try a little bit of compressor to deal with some of those really hot peaks. Or maybe even like a limiter actually, so that we're not ever clipping. So we don't have to deal with that clipping problem.
Okay. I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone.
Yeah, this is JC's
don't really see why I do this alone. I don't wanna be.
So I just ran it through a limiter so that we can avoid the clipping. Let's go ahead and check the really clipped sections.
Why not stay with me? Lighthouse in the dark. Do this alone. I do this alone.
Okay, sounds good.
Do this alone.
And yes, that is her singing. I don't know if I answered it already. Okay, so now that we've flattened it out and we've avoided the peaks, which is a big band-aid, like I would absolutely do some volume reduction in these big clipped sections, but I can't because it's frozen. I would absolutely do that first, but because we've addressed it more or less here and flattened it to a line, we can actually turn it up here, and we don't have to worry about clipping as much.
I do this alone. I don't wanna be.
Yeah, so the vocal I feel should be up front. And that's one of my main mixing critiques on this. I mean, it's a beautiful song. Just needs, priorities.
Why not stay with me? Be the lighthouse in the dark. Why not stay with me? Steady with this heartbeat.
I don't think there's like a definitive chorus, but I kind of love that. It's not a traditional arrangement at all. If I had to like akin this to something, I would probably say Porter's newest album, like the Nurture record.
I don't wanna be chasing.
So yeah, whatever bass is coming in there is nice. I don't think it's actually bass. I think it's your piano.
I don't wanna be.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bass. I think it's a piano. Yeah. So I think like, one of the key elements that's filling that low mid is actually just the piano. So I don't know if this is a subjective matter and I'm just kind of executive producing right now, or backseat producing, I guess. But I would personally try some more low-end elements here. Like add like a more legato bass to go under this piano so that you have that nice like thick sub underneath. I'm gonna try that really quick. This is just purely experimentation at this point. Go ahead and just delete everything on here. And then we'll just add like, something simple like a Serum saw wave or Serum sine wave. Tarantism says the melody she chooses with her voice is amazing, and I would agree with that. She is so talented. Guys, seriously, if you haven't heard her new record and music video, you absolutely should. I mean, it really warmed my heart. I'm just gonna add like a sine wave. Let's do both octaves actually, -1 and 1, or 0. We can try a different shape, like a triangle or something. That works in the song now. We can also go a little bit heavier and do like a saw wave and with some unison and go full like Reese mode. This might be a bit too much, but we'll see.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I
actually be an EQ on this or something that's diminishing the low end. But I think that's a little bit better. It fills up the bottom end with that piano a bit more. I would just say that you need this kind of octave where you have that piano kind of scattered throughout the first half too. And I love how whimsical the arrangement is. Like, there's no formula to it, and it's really beautiful. Just find unique ways of integrating that octave down into the first half too. Doesn't have to be this. Like, I don't want you actively to copy and paste this over here. I love how free the arrangement is, but I think doing some of that low end in the first half would be really helpful. Okay. I'm gonna rename this Julian sub so you know which one it is. See that big obnoxious orange channel.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really.
So to me, like, outside of small mix stuff, those are the big things that I would address. Like, make your voice a little bit above the noise of everything else. So like 2 or 3 decibels louder. We've achieved that with a limiter here. I would probably first flatten this out so you're not clipping some of these voices, unless that's the aesthetic you're going for and it's like an artistic choice. And then, you know, give it a few decibels. By flattening it out and you know, opening up that headroom, we've been able to turn it up like 2 or 3 decibels, and I think it works really well. And then, in addition to that, all I did was try adding some low end here. Really quickly, we can try some mastering. That might really help the song too. So I'm going to grab a FabFilter Pro L. Really good limiter. If this doesn't work, we can try a newfangled Elevate, which is a little bit more transparent. Pro L just has this very nice tone that I like. Let's go ahead and try it.
Steady with this heartbeat.
I'm going to give it a few decibels of push. Probably push it a little more than that. Big nurture energy here. Love it. So pretty.
I don't wanna be chasing dreams alone. I don't really see why I do this alone.
So the trick with limiting is, you know, you want to push it as much as you can without it becoming noticeable, or at least too noticeable. And I think, you know, like 4 decibels, it's trimming quite a bit in some transients, but I'm not hearing a huge difference, you know, and that's a good thing. The only thing we're hearing really is the volume increase. We're not hearing a huge amount of distortion. So I think that's awesome. All right. So I think that's where we're gonna wrap this song. Really awesome work, JC, or Jace, I guess. I keep getting that confused. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and save this for you. And everybody in the chat, give Jace an incredible round of applause. She is an incredible musician, and go stream her new song because it's incredible in its own way too. Okay. All right. Next up in our Rolodex of songs to check out for today, we have Essady, who always enters projects into these streams. Let's go ahead and get that one open for us. Okay. And this is a remix that Essity did. So if the stream dies, Essity, you are to blame. However, I don't think it will. And I see that you are in the chat. Why don't you let us know beforehand? Are you running this in Ableton 11 or in Ableton 10? Just so we know. And for the time being, I will go to a brief Q&A so that we can wait for him to answer. We're waiting on you, Essity. Tell us right this second. Are you in Ableton 10 or 11? So we know. 11.1. There we go. Now we know. Awesome. All right. We are back to our normal scheduled scheduling. Our normal scheduled scheduling. Cool. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for future video uploads. Like what I did there. Really cool, eh? New animations. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing open then. Ableton Live 11.1. All right, guys, can you hear me now? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me now. Should be working. If not, then I don't know why. It's skipping? Oh, I see what happened. It's my... Oh, there we go. Oh, I see what happened. You guys can hear me fine now, or is it still jacked up? Let me know. I think it's my sound card having a bug. Cool. So yeah, thank you, Essity, for making this amazing art. Surely you used a tool for this. There's no way you did this on your own. If you did do this on your own, that's insane. But yeah, amazing. Let's go ahead and carry this thing on. Really quickly, I'm gonna kill my Sonar Works. That might be giving me issues. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and give this thing a play. What's up, broski? Hope you're well. I don't have much to say this time around because the art took so long. So please enjoy it. Thanks. I can't believe you did that manually. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. You even did like the velocities. Holy crap. Awesome. Nice low end. My sound, I just realized, was doubled up. I'm sorry if it was weird. That clap is so sick. Honestly. So I don't have a huge amount of critique for this. That transition could have been a little bit smoother, I think. That's cool. Oh man. It's so dramatically small. Like it gets really tiny. That's sick. This is so good, man. This might be my favorite one of yours submitted so far. It's really good. I can't get over how good that clap is. man, upon first listen, like, I don't have a ton of critique for this. Like, I think you've really nailed it. I do have a few notes, like we mentioned, and like you talked about in your comment just there. Transition to the breakdown is where I think it needs the most work. I mirror that, and I said that before you mentioned it. I think this transition is a little rough. Like, it feels rushed in a way. This doesn't insinuate a breakdown is coming, and I think that's what makes a really great transition. When the previous section is really insinuating the next section, but without being too obvious. One or two other things. I think your lead with the delay on it, wherever that is, let me see if I can find it. Not sure which element that is. It's not the bass. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. So you have a lot of high delay. What I would suggest is grabbing this delay, pulling it more towards your mids and lows. When you crowd up the highs, it becomes like a lot of voices of the same thing over and over again. It almost gives off that cheesy impression of like you playing the same thing in a row to try to emulate an echo. A proper like delay, in my opinion, is somewhere in the mids or the lows, where you're reflecting the essence of the original voice, which is like up here, but you're not reflecting the entire voice over and over again. Like, it's when you do this, for example, like literally if you did this, you're copy and pasting the same thing like on the timeline several times. And more or less when you're doing it with the high end too, like the really clear, crisp parts, it's like you're taking duplicates of the same thing over and over again. So I just want to grab like the remnants of it, like how a sound will sound like 20 feet away. And that's like around this kind of area here. So I don't want to delay all those high voices. I kind of want to grab like around here. And this is just subjective, you know. To me, it's a little cheesy when there's all that high end in the delays. Maybe something like this. It's a little more subtle, and you can hear the difference between that and this. Versus like this. It's just subtle, and the tone feels a little bit closer, at least to me. And then, you know, now that we've freed up that space in the high end, we can fill it with a little bit of, you know, like ambient room or something. So we can try like a Valhalla room after that, and try something like this where use like maybe 20%. We can probably keep it on like the large room preset here, and just go for like space, and give the high cut like almost nothing, so that you're getting all of that high reflections in the room. So let's see how that sounds in the drop. Yeah, just add so much more space, I think, and more feeling. Lucky Cat, welcome. We're out here fixing projects. Okay, so this guy's a little too loud, I think. Maybe like 2 or 3 decibels. But rather than, you know, nitpick the mix all day, let's try to address this transition here. So we've kind of discussed already that this feels a little bit too aggressive of a change, right? So So a few things I think are making this especially harsh of a transition. This swell into nothing is really harsh. If we soloed this, it kind of goes nowhere, and it's making the silence of this breakdown really obvious and really aggressive silence, I guess, for lack of a better word. So what I'll do, first method here might be duplicating this and then flipping it around so we can have, like, you know, somewhere for it to go. Maybe we can stretch that out. I don't know if I love this. Like, let's mute it for the time being. I would almost say like some reverb on this might help soften how hard that edge is when it comes off. Like something like this. So that's a little bit better already. Maybe we can try the same thing with this guy. Okay, that one actually flows. We'll just check out some of these effects that kind of go nowhere, and we'll either remove them or do a similar thing. So I actually kind of like that one, so we'll flip it around. We'll make sure our fades are the opposite way. Do this, do this, do this, and then do a fade. Yeah, so it's not as abrupt. Don't know about that either. Maybe some noise reversing too. Just trying to, essentially all we're doing here is we're trying to soften the change. We don't want it to be so abrupt coming down. So, okay, do you have like a, yeah. This might be too quick. If we slow this movement down, it might help too. Okay, that's better. We're getting there. Maybe this? We did this. It's one long flowing piece rather than like a bunch. Why is it doing that? That's odd. Okay, I'll grab this one and do it. Shouldn't be that drastic of a change. You know? Why is it doing that? Do you have like a filter or something on here that's moving? Yeah, something is changing right there for sure. It's the delay. That's what it is. I didn't see it because it was cut off at the bottom of my screen. Yeah, okay. Your delay is getting lost, so I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Okay, better. It's getting there. That's so cool. I would experiment with trying to add some bass in this break section. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, just like a stab or something every now and then to give it like a little bit more low end. It doesn't have very much right now. But I think, you know, the changes we have made so far have softened this change a lot. It doesn't feel as like abrupt anymore. It was pretty abrupt before. Like a big like boom. I mean, it kind of comes in here with the vocal, so I don't know. But something like that, I don't know. Sounding really good. I don't really have other critiques for this. Honestly, it's so good. Your master could be pushed more for sure. Perfect, nice wedge shape for your spectrum balance here. You don't have anything that's like really poking out. You have a nice like downward moving wedge, which is really good for this type of like melodic techno. Honestly, man, I don't want to give you any more feedback than you need. I think that that's sounding incredible. What I would say is, I mean, I'm not 100% satisfied with how this is translating still, but I think that, you know, doing stuff like this to really soften the change and then maybe add some stuff here or remove some stuff here that insinuates that a breakdown is coming would be the smartest thing to do here. I think as of the production and the mix and the samples that you selected, it's perfect. Such a cool tune. I think it's my favorite that you sent in so far. It's well produced. And this is crazy. Thank you for that. I'm going to post this on Twitter later. That's Nuts. Cool. I'm actually gonna save these. Cool. All right. So we have one more for today. This is going to be the last one of the day. Go ahead and save this. Again, this is a short stream today. Usually it's longer, but today we had less submissions. At the end of this stream, I will show you a preview of a song that's dropping of mine at the end of the week, and you guys can check that out for yourself on Friday. So if you're interested in hearing one of my new songs, make sure to stick around till the end. All right, Dustin, I'm going to open this up in Ableton 10, see if it opens. If it doesn't, then we're going to try 11. And also, to all of you patrons that are tuned into this stream today, I know a lot of you are. We're doing another Patreon meetup call. We do them now after these streams every second Saturday of the... second to last Saturday of the month. So third Saturday of the month, we do streams like this, and then we do a meetup call in Discord after the fact. While we load in here and while I figure this out, I'll switch over to my main camera. Yeah, okay, so it is an Ableton 10 project. Good thing I opened it in 10. Awesome. Yeah, so like I was saying, we do these streams every third Saturday of the month, and then we follow it with a Patreon meetup call. This month's call will be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific. So right now it is 1 p.m. That is in 3 hours, and I will see you there. All right, this is Dustin's record, Dustin Rosada, and it's going to be As the Sun Rises. So let's go ahead and give this thing a play. You missed it, didn't you, Jace? Oh, sorry, Jace. I already covered your song. You were actually the first one of the day. I loved your record. Great submission as usual. You can always watch the stream back and check out what I said about your song after it's uploaded. Really good tune. Great work, as usual. All right, without further ado, this is Dustin Rosada, As the Sun Rises. R&B feel. That's cool. I do the usual suspects. Gonna make these into a chain, to be honest, so I can grab it every time. Yeah, the song's a little bit on the quiet side. I think I might be missing some plugins. CLA2, FabFilter Pro Q. Yeah, I'm just gonna give the song a little bit of a bump in the limiter so it's easier to hear. Interesting. She just kind of had a gap. Is this song arranged yet, or is this still an early arrangement? Yeah, somebody said in the chat, can you explain the wedge in span? There's no like rule to this. I mean, every genre has a different like ideal quote unquote shape. In melodic techno, you know, starting with like the loudest element being your bass and kind of gracefully going down like this is ideal, because you want to you know, make sure your bass and kick are the main element, and everything else is kind of not as loud. In stuff like Porter Robinson or Madeon or like Oliver, that type of like really in your face indie electronic stuff, it's kind of flipped. So it's like you have either a very flat line across the whole thing where the high end is really loud, or the high end is the loudest thing and it's slightly wedging down this way. What you want to avoid in mixing is when you have like this might be a good example where you have like an element in your mids, or an element in like your, let's say like right here, and you had a harmonic that was like here, and then like the rest of it's kind of like this. That's bad. You want it to kind of more or less be flat with a slight tilt. So like you want it to be flat, maybe this way or this way a little bit, but you don't want to have like outlying frequencies that are really loud. So yeah, I think the arrangement's actually where I'm running into the most like head scratchers, I guess, head scratcher moments. You kind of don't have a drop for 3.5 minutes, and then it kind of just kicks in. If it were me, I would probably do some more arranging here, so where, you know, your break is less long. Your break is actually longer than your main like chorus drop is. I would say add a little bit of length to your first drop, I guess, if you want to call this a drop. Just make the arrangement make a little bit more sense from like a listening perspective. The chorus is usually where you put all of your like eggs, I guess, and you don't want to like undervalue the chorus. I guess. Okay, Sonic Buster in the chat was saying that there's an uncomfortable sidechain, and I actually was gonna mirror that sentiment. One of your like strings or something is like sidechained so heavily that it's a little bit uncomfortable. So I think that this is what it is that they're talking about. The biggest problem, I think, is that you're grabbing the low end of your kick. Where is your sidechain? So you have a sidechain channel. So if we actually froze this down so I can see it in audio, I think this is actually a little too long. Like these sidechain triggers are far too long. And it's making your sidechain like pull the strings down for way too long. It doesn't sound right. If I flatten this, for example, let's take a look at how that looks. Any day now. Come on. It's just loading in. Yeah. So for every time that these notes are hitting, and for the entire remainder of that length, the strings will not even be there. So if you kind of, you know, creatively think about this, like imagine this is cut out of here, like more or less like this. It's kind of like what you're doing by having such a flat waveform that's triggering your sidechain with your current settings. You're more or less just cutting the strings out every time this plays. And it's not even just that. You actually have a bit of an attack time. So it's cutting but slightly delayed. So it's like, yeah, it's like somewhere around here-ish if I can put my cursor. So what I would suggest doing is, first and foremost, take your sidechain trigger and make it about this long. That's about as long as you want your sidechain to be, or sidechain trigger to be, so that way you can adjust how long it's cutting your strings out based on the release time setting. You want to make your trigger as short as possible. Right now it's kind of long. It's like a whole quarter note, and that's pretty long. So first and foremost, I'm going to unfreeze this, go back to where we were. What I'm going to do is just really shorten this, like down to like there. Yep, there we go. And then let's go ahead and freeze this and see how that looks. Osmium. Good to see you. Okay, and then let's go ahead and flatten this, and you'll see what I mean when it loads in. These are now extremely short sidechain triggers, so your strings will only be cut this long by default, right? So if you had it to attack time 0 and release time 0, and you're just listening for the entire signal of your sidechain, you're basically going to be cutting for this long. Now, let's say that we wanted our sidechain to, you know, do a shape like this, where we're trimming out, and we're releasing slowly. So like we're getting closer to like where we were before. Like you were cutting about this much before, but not quite there. You can actually expand upon the length of this sidechain by dealing with the release time in your sidechain settings. So like instead of being at the will or the mercy of the length of your sidechain trigger, you now have the variability of making the cut longer or shorter based on your release time. I hope that makes sense. So long story short, you generally want, or I guess like a TLDR, you generally want a short sidechain trigger, and you want to listen for it or if you want to make it longer, you want it to be the release time, not the trigger itself. Let's make the attack 0. That's easier. And then what we'll do also is enhance the ratio. So we're cutting more, but for a shorter period of time. And this is what you end up with. Of course, I'm not playing the sound. Let me go ahead and listen for sidechain again. I don't know how that got disconnected. Or did I not grab it right? Weird. Sidechain. There's no way to type it. That's annoying. It's called FX. Not used. Sidechain. There it is. You see how much shorter that is now? And then rather than listening for the low end, maybe we can listen for the high end. Make it as short as possible. Granted, there's no pitch movement, so it won't actually make a difference for this. Because your sidechain triggers the same volume every time. That's even a little bit on the long side. I would probably shorten that a bit, but yeah, that's definitely better. Yeah, Essity says, I find that using noise triggers works better than any shapes. I actually don't use that. I use a kick drum. I actually derive my sidechain trigger from my kick itself. There's not a huge reason to use a ghost kick unless you're trying to do like a sidechain pattern while the kick is muted. That's about it. So why don't we try, instead of using the sidechain, actually deriving it from the kick? If we go to drums, let's see if we can find the kick. So it's kit core 909. Go into pads and we'll do kit core 909. And like before, I'm just going to try to make our transient as short as possible. So I'm just going to go for the really small click transient of the sidechain. So or I'm sorry, of the kick. So I'm doing that. Release time a little more. And to me, that sounds better and more organic because we're actually deriving the sidechain trigger from the kick itself. We can copy that to our bass, which I don't think has a sidechain on it right now. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna paste it on. Okay, so this is a little bit much of a boost here. I don't think you need that. Maybe, if anything, a little bit more high end. Kick's kind of getting lost. I think it might just be a sample thing. And in your filters, kind of, you know, you're cutting off the high end. I would just open that up all the way. Yeah, this sample to me is kind of lackluster. I would find something with a little bit more bite on the high end, but I guess it's a more subjective writing thing. So we'll just do some quick EQ on all of these elements here. So I'll just grab an EQ. Add some high end to the hi-hats to really give them bite. I'll do that on the main drum channel too, I think. Yeah. never trim off the high end of your percussion. That's where all of your like energy and bite is. Okay, I see why you boosted that. That's a cool harmonic. Cool. Now let's put the kick back. It just doesn't have any like boom, like I'm sorry, not boom, but like crunch. It doesn't have any like oomph. Might try the drum bus compressor, or the drum bus effect, I should say. I was reading the compressor. Add a little crunch. That's not achieving much. It's just the sample itself doesn't have a lot of high end. Like, to me, this needs another layer. Like, if you did, Fairplay has some cool drums kind of in this style. Like, you know, yeah, something like that. Definitely more, you know, top end bite. That's really what I'm after. So if you swapped it in. What is this even doing? Nothing. I guess you automated or something. Yeah, turn it up a bit. Yeah, we could actually even layer these two, but I think they're similar enough to where it really doesn't need to be. Just needs more of that punch in the highs, you know. I'm back. Is it back? It should be back. Sound is always my worst enemy. Don't know why. So yeah, I'm just making that kick the loudest thing, I think. Confirm that I can still be heard here. Yeah, cool. Sound is the enemy of me every time. So this main drum channel needs to be louder than the hi-hats for sure. Let's take that up like 4. Yeah, nice and tight now, you know. We've set our priorities, you know, we have a support hi-hat in the background. We have our main drums, which is like your clap, your snare, and then your like accessory hi-hats. They're all kind of in there. You know, and it's all it was just setting some levels and selecting a sample with a little more high end. It's got some punch now. Let's go ahead and put the bass back in. That bass is quiet, but I can't tell if that's just the whole song quiet relative to the drums I just made. No, it's just that bass. All right, let's take the bass and give it some volume here. Harmonic here, which is an octave, and then we have a lower one here. What I would do is double check that your low octave is as loud or louder than your octave harmonic. You're creating this weird like feeling of the bottom is not quite there and the highs are like louder. I don't have your plugin, but if I just, this is the dirtiest solution ever. But if I just take this and do something like this. So that your low octave notes are the same volume at least. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a little bit loud. So now that we've done that, we can actually give some more into the limiter, I think. I feel like this needs some limiting in and of itself. Like it's kind of all over the place dynamically. So just take a limiter and flatten it a bit. Yeah, hell yeah. So I'm going to remove some of your mids from this pad and accentuate the high end. So it has a little bit more brightness, a little bit more clarity, and we're gonna scoop out some like 500 hertz 1K, so it's not as thick and muddy. My sound is the bane of my existence. Same with the guitar, man. It's just a little dull. Needs some brightness. This kind of curve doesn't help with that. It's probably something in here like these that are really diminishing your power in the guitar. Am I back now? I could switch it to my laptop mic, and that would work probably. But can you hear me? Hopefully. It's the bane of my existence. Is sound routing, especially on Mac. But you know, we do it. We do it for the videos here. We do it. We do it for you. So you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you know, follow me on Twitch. Subscribe. Cool. Okay. So, I think this is where I'm going to wrap up this one. It sounds good to me, man. Just a little bit of mixing, especially in the drums, really helped bring the song together. These might be able to be a little bit louder than everything else, but cool idea. I think the main thing that I didn't get to work on today that you need to address is that the arrangement's kind of weird. Like, you have a whole 3 minutes before like a quote-unquote drop kicks in. Interesting layout, especially when you don't justify it with like a lead or like a vocal or something sort of top line. Yeah, so really good work on this. I would say my biggest thing to change would be the arrangement right now. I have fixed a lot of the mixed stuff that you had. Could still use some work, but definitely sounding better. I don't know if I quite fixed it, but I did make improvements, and that's what matters. Okay, so this is As the Sun Rises, and I'm going to go ahead and collect all and save this one. So let's go ahead and move back over to just the webcam here. And yeah, so I think we covered all of the songs today. We only had 3 submissions for this stream. If you want to submit your project to next stream, you can go over to Patreon and patreon.com/JulianGray. Find out more information there about how to submit projects to future streams. And if you are already a patron, we are doing a patron Discord meetup call in the Julian Gray Discord, discord.gg/JulianGray, in about 2 hours over on Discord. So hop in and hang out with the rest of the gang. Oh yeah, everybody give Dustin Rosada a big round of applause for that awesome record, that last one. It was really cool. Yeah, you guys can see my Quaker. All right. Awesome. So I will see a lot of you guys in the Discord meetup call tonight at 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, if you want to submit for next month's stream, go over to patreon.com and check that out. And yeah, I promised you guys that I would show you a new song, which is the one that's coming out on Friday. And I might as well do that. Watch, this is what's going to get my stream demonetized. That would be a really awesome ending to the stream, I think. Just Julian gets completely decked by monetization. Okay, here we go. I will play this for you, and you're gonna like it. All right. Demonetize myself.
disappear as their colors are run. We see connection all around.
See, I can make myself
Sacred
dance.
cracks paint the desert floor. Water captured from the seasons before. We seek reflection underground. Time will wait as we keep moving.
So this is actually funny you say that. It's KJ Saka from Pendulum producing, and it's Blake Lewis, the American Idol singer. This drops on Friday, guys. Make sure to pre-save. I'll drop that link in the chat. All right, gotta dance. Gotta dance. Gotta dance. Gotta dance.
Keep dreaming. Dancing in the
This is my song. Comes out on Friday. And I just dropped the pre-save in the chat. So go and pre-save it, you know. Make Spotify love us. That would be nice. Spotify would be cool. Oh.
Come sing out all these desert hymns. Melodies swim through passing winds.
It's gonna be like,
The beauty in the sound.
oh. Camera change.
The universe held in every breath. Heals the scars that we try to forget. We seek surrender in ourselves. Time will wait as we keep
Oh, back to the other one.
stand today, letting go. The world will wait, but we'll keep dreaming.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Oh, back to the other. See, I'm a professional VJ, as you can see. I should really make this like a show visual. I think I'm on something. Cool. Ooh, I get the advanced move. All right. Yeah, Sonic, wait till you see the animated version. Oh. Didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Wait till you see the animated version. It's really cool. The lyric video with like the real version of that is coming out on Friday. Make sure to save it at the link I just sent in the chat. Well, anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. I always love these streams. I love working on your music. I cannot wait to work on music for you guys next month. So make sure to submit your project files, and we will absolutely do that next month on the third Saturday of the month. Okay. I will see you guys next time, and I will see all of you patrons, and if any of you Discord mods want to hop in, I will see you as well at 4 p.m. over on Discord, discord.gg/JulianGray, and I will see you there. All right. It's been good talking to you guys today. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.